Howdy, folks. Thank you very much for joining me today in this valuable webinar or class on natural treatments for gas and bloating. Now, this is a very important subject because a lot of people have gas and bloating and constipation and other digestive issues, including irritable bowel, acid reflux, etc. But we're going to focus today on gas and bloating. And first, we need to understand what is gas and bloating. Well, gas and bloating is generally a symptom of poor digestion, of your body's inability to digest the food, to poor food combining, or the food was not properly combined and didn't break down properly. So you get excess bacteria making gas. So we're going to cover all these causes. But basically, when you have gas and bloating, this is like smoke coming out of the back of the car. The engine is not running good. That's the point. The engine is not running good. And when the engine doesn't run good, you don't have good performance. And same for gas and bloating. If you have a lot of gas and bloating, then you have a digestive issue, and your engine or your body or your whole metabolism is not going to be running well. So you'll have less energy. You'll be more fatigued. You'll be weaker, because you're not absorbing your nutrients, and you could be diagnosed with malabsorption, the inability or the poor ability to absorb the nutrients in the small and large intestines, and end up with nutritional deficiencies and weakness, and have to be supplementing your diet a lot to make up for your poor digestion. But the most important thing about treating gas and bloating is to diagnose why you or your patient has gas or bloating. Well, that's my question. I can treat it. The question is, why do they have gas and bloating? And there's many different causes. There's many different reasons. And most of the time, the people are creating these themselves unknowingly. So once these causes are removed in their diet, their eating habits, and even sometimes a change in food, then most of the cause is removed. Now, of course, the herbs on top of that, change in diet, change in eating habit, change in foods, will really give you fast results, because the herbs act immediately. So once again, I want to thank our sponsor, Herbman Teas, for making this all possible, paying for this nice cup, paying for this service for me. Herbmanteas.com. I have over 50 herbal teas online for sale for every health condition. And if you go there and you look under digestion, you see about 7 or 8 digestive teas. See, that shows you the different types of digestion issues that people can have. There's no one digestive tea, because people are very different. So that's the first thing. You have to determine what kind of person do you have. And of course, in Ayurveda, we're very individualized. We break people down by category, by dosha, or dominant dosha, or prakriti, vata, pitta, or kapha. So that's the first thing. And mostly it's the vata with the gas and bloating, but the pitta can have it and the kapha can have it, but the causes will be different and the treatment will be different. So mostly today we're focusing on the vata type person, because they're the one most susceptible to gas and bloating. And that is a person who's light, means thin, not heavy; dry skin, not oily; cold, means cold hands and feet, not hot and warm. And so these dry, light, cold, even rough, rough skin, that's the sign of the vata person, or vata dominant person. And their vata, the home of vata, is in the colon. And one of the main signs and symptoms of vata imbalance is gas and bloating. Both gas and bloating are air, and the word vata means air. So, you have this gas and bloating in your colon. You have this air, or vata, in your colon. So it's a vata problem, but it doesn't mean that a pitta prakriti or kapha prakriti type person doesn't get it as well. But the treatment has to be completely different, because you're dealing with a different person. So, for example, a pitta type of dominant person like myself, they have a warmer body temperature, stronger appetite, can eat most foods without much trouble. Maybe could get a little too hot or warm from certain foods, and won't do good with spicy foods, hot foods, because they could get acid reflux and heartburn, or have the tendency to. So you can't use all these hot carminative spices like ginger, black pepper, even too much cumin, which is exactly are some of the best spices to help gas and bloating, ginger and cumin, for example. But not with a pitta. He's not going to do well with that ginger and too much cumin. Definitely not ginger and black pepper. So you have to use different herbs to treat the same problem because you have a different person. Then if you have the kapha person, is heavy, dense, slow, generally overweight, the more mild herbs may not even work because he's or her is quite heavy and sluggish, and a little bit of mild digestive tea just may not be enough to really, stimulate the digestive enzymes and get the bowels moving and everything you need to do for a heavy person. You got 280-pound person, maybe just a little cup of tea is not going to do it. If it is, you're going to have have a really hot tea with like clove, black pepper, and really hot spices, a lot of ginger. So it's really hot and strong for this kapha type person. So even different person with the same condition should be treated in a different way. So that's really the first step in treating anybody is classify them, understand who they are first of all, and then the second is start making a list of all of the causes. So now we're going to go through all the causes of gas and bloating. Number one, you're right. You may want to write down the ones that you have, by the way. This is a class. I wish I could see if you're taking notes or not. But anyway, take some notes. This is a class. And if you have it, just write it down. This is what I do when I meet a new patient. I just make a little list of all their little causes, and then I tell them all at once at the end about them. First one is snacking on nuts, crackers, chips, and protein bars. Number one, that ruins your digestion. It's a horrible habit. Somehow people got this stuck in their head that nuts are good. I think they read about their fat content or something like that and thought they were good. Well, I didn't say they're bad, but snacking on them definitely can be constipating and give you gas and bloating. I have people that say, well, I've never been constipated in my life. I've been just doing fine. And I say, you've been snacking on nuts and crackers? Oh, yeah, I haven't been having lunch. I've been just snacking on granola and through lunch. Well, that did it. Now they're constipated. First time in their life. Very common. So you don't want to be snacking on nuts and crackers. It doesn't matter if they're organic. Protein bars, another big constipator, digestion, messer-upper. Takes away your appetite, takes away your digestive capacity. I mean, you only have so much bile. You only have so much digestive enzymes for the day. And there you are just using them up in the middle of the day, snacking on nuts and crackers. And then when it comes time to your meal, you're not that hungry. You get a little gas and bloating for your meal. You can't eat too much. Then you don't eat enough. And then you eat at night. Now, no, I never said never eat nuts, and seeds. I didn't say that. I said don't snack on nuts, crackers, chips, protein bars, seeds, nothing but fruit. This is the biggest problem people have. Now, if you're an overweight person, you're got fatty liver, you're obese, and you got high cholesterol, well, you don't get any nuts at all. So it depends on each person. But everybody shouldn't be snacking on nuts and crackers. Okay, that's only number one. You should be snacking, by the way, on juicy fruit, sometimes dried fruit, but basically fruit or a snack. Number two reason people get a lot of gas and bloating, combining fruit with their meal. I don't know how many people came back for the second appointment. I said, oh, how's that gas and bloating? And they said, just fine after I took the strawberries out of the oatmeal. Or some people had a habit of having some like little fruit cake after their meals. I said, once I just didn't have my fruit cake and waited an hour to have it, I was fine. So many people discovered you eat fruit with a meal, it can make the carbohydrates, ferment, and that creates burping, flatulence, bloating, air. I mean, it's just like the old science experiment. You get the baking soda, put in some vinegar and it bubbles. Well, you're doing it to yourself. And one of the most common ones is fruit and yogurt. That's probably one of the worst food combining there is. And I don't know how many people came to me again. I'd come back, I'd say, how's the gas and bloating after I changed your diet, got rid of all these bad habits you had, etc., gave you these herbs. And I said, well, once I stopped having fruit and yogurt, it got a lot better the next day. But see, they got convinced in their head that these nuts are good, yogurt's good. So they kept doing it, not knowing that this is not good food combining. This is not good eating habit. This is wreaking havoc on their digestive system, their appetite. Okay, so number 3, we got a lot to do here, because causes really, once you know the cause, it's easy to treat, because that's your cause, mixing fruit, then now you already eliminate it. Maybe you don't even need any herbs. So next is cold foods. Cold foods. If you have cold smoothies, that's one of the biggest causes of digestive problems, because again, people got themselves convinced they're going to put in their coconut oil, they're going to put in some frozen blueberries, maybe some goji berries. Those are really superfoods. Then they'll throw in some mushrooms. They're the new superfood. And then protein powder. We need some protein powder, so you put in some pea protein or some whey protein. Then kale. Throw in some leafy greens. Blend it all up. Well, that food combining is a few problems here. One, food combining is terrible. It's just going to make a big glob inside of your intestines, your small, and you're going to get a lot of burping and gas from it. And 2, it's cold, and anything cold, ice water, ice drinks, ice cream, all can adversely affect your digestive system. So no cold foods, no cold drinks, particularly ice water with meals. This is really, let me think of the right word. I don't want to say foolish, but not healthy. Not healthy. That's the word. Because it's affecting your digestion. You're trying to digest the food to get the nutrients, to get the energy, to keep going and have a lot of energy. And when you drink something cold with the meal, you're adversely affecting that whole absorption process. So no cold foods, and so no snacking on nuts, no cold food. Now, the next common reason for gas and bloating is just simple: constipation. Now, most people, if you just say, hey, how many bowel movements you have? Oh, I'm normal. Well, I said, no, ma'am, just please give me an exact number here. We're talking 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day, every other day. And then they'll say, well, every other day. See, so for them, that's normal, but that's extremely constipated. They just didn't talk to anybody about it. There's a lot of medical doctors just don't care if you're constipated, but it's probably the biggest cause right there of gas and bloating, because particularly if you've got a lot of burping. If there's a lot of burping, that's air coming back up. The flatulence and the air should go down. There's always some air coming out the rectum, as the undigested food moves through the intestinal tract. There's some air there. There's a little fermentation taking place. A little bit is normal. But when you get a lot of burping, then you're probably blocked up. It's one of the signs and symptoms of a constipated person is a lot of burping. Things are coming back up. And that burping can even push stomach acids back up. It's a cause for stomach acids too. So constipation can create some like burping and air coming up because things aren't moving down, and then that pushes up acidity and heartburn too. So it's a unique type of case, but it does happen. But good question, what is a healthy bowel movement? The same amount of bowel movements as you have meals. So if you ate 3 meals a day, you should have 3 bowel movements a day. Say you're overweight, you're trying to run lean, and you're having 2 meals a day, then you should have 2 bowel movements a day. 1 a day, I'm still going to give you some herbs, get that going, particularly if you have gas and bloating. Because what happens when your bowels don't move every day, this fecal matter goes somewhere. It goes into pockets of your colon called diverticuli, and that can lead to diverticulitis. So constipation, you can get diverticulitis, fistula, hemorrhoids, but before that, for 10 or 20 years, you're going to have a lot of gas and bloating. And sometimes people think that they're overweight because they have this extra weight right in the lower part of the abdominal area, and they're exercising and fasting and starving and doing all this thing. And I found out that they're just constipated. Once you get the bowels moving, they drop 4 or 5 pounds, belly comes right down, stop burping, and things are moving downward. So constipation is another big cause. And what causes constipation? A lot of times snacking on nuts, dry food, crackers, a lot of dry things, particularly if you have dry stool and you snack on dry cookies, dry protein bars. Protein bars are very constipating. They're dry, they're hard, and you're not having them usually with a nice cup of warm milk or something that would help, make it a little bit more liquid. So dry foods will constipate you. Then you get constipated. Then you get gassy and bloated. So this snacking on nuts and crackers and protein bars, it just cascades into little health problems that just keep accumulating because, like I said, the gas and bloating can give you heart, GERD, and acidity, and the constipation eventually can give you hemorrhoids, fistula, and even diverticulitis. And that's all just coming from your bad eating habits. Now, of course, eating late at night and then going to bed, another digestive problem. Another cause is eating when you're not hungry. Sometimes your spouse, sometimes the patient, their spouse is a really good cook. So they're cooking and the guy's eating. He's not that hungry, but hey, it tastes good, wants to be polite, wants to sit with the family. So he goes ahead and eats. Well, if you're eating and you're not really hungry, that's like trying to cook bread in an oven before you heat up the oven. So if you're not hungry, don't bother eating because you won't digest the food. There has to be some appetite. There has to be some stomach acids. The body has to be ready and prepared to eat the meal. So don't just eat because it's 8 o'clock. That's going to create not only constipation, gas, bloating. It will also lead to weight gain, eating when you're not hungry. Now, the next reason for gas and bloating is really now moving over to the diet, the foods themselves. Many foods are hard to digest. And I had the bullets for this webinar, and I saw the bullets. It said, causes of digestion, which I've just been covering, dietary guidelines, which I'm going to cover now, herbal remedies and home remedies, which I'm going to cover. But I thought of another category, and that was understanding digestive capacity. That's knowing how much you can digest. For example, if you have a baby isn't going to eat a carrot. He's going to have maybe carrot soup or a little mushy carrot, in a little spoon. An elderly person in their 90s, they're not going to be eating salads. They're going to be eating soup. Maybe half their teeth are gone. So you have to match the food to the person's digestive capacity. And Vata type people and many sensitive people, they don't have strong digestive capacity. They can't eat salads. This is probably the next biggest cause of digestive discomfort, gas, bloating, indigestion, heartburn, is just eating the foods that you're not capable of digesting. And that's what Ayurveda does when you get an Ayurvedic diet. You're getting foods not based on, it has the most nutrients, and that's why people have kale. It's got a lot of vitamins, so they're eating it. But most people don't have the digestive capacity to eat raw kale. So if you keep eating raw kale, you're going to get gas and bloating. And that's a sign you didn't digest it. But people keep doing it because they got it in their heads that kale is healthy, but you're not digesting the kale. So what we do is we get rid of the hard to digest foods. Hard to digest foods are basically hard foods. And mostly that means not cooked. So if somebody's coming to me, they're Vata, they're having a lot of gas and bloating and digestive problems, we say no raw vegetables, no salads, because we make everything soft and soupy and well cooked like we would do for a young child or a baby. And that just makes it easier to digest. And it's no dry, no hard, more oil, low fat diet can really create dry, hard stools, create constipation, and lead also to gas and bloating. So that's the next most important thing. If you're having chronic gas and bloating all the time, you got to stop the raw vegetables. You got to stop all the raw food. Start cooking the food, make it soft. Don't have an apple, have applesauce. Don't have a carrot, have carrot soup. You're going to have no trouble digesting carrot soup, but you're not going to be digesting the carrot. We probably don't chew it enough in the first place. So pureed food, soupy foods, cooked foods, soft foods, more oil in the diet, all will help the digestion. Don't even do dry rice, do soupy rice. If you do a grain like oatmeal or bread, make sure you put some fat like butter or ghee on it. You can't have a grain without some fat. Otherwise, it can be kind of, not digest properly and rush too much glucose into your system. And it's just not, you just need some fat with the bread. So we put oil, fried rice, we got the oil with the rice. We put some butter on the bread. We put butter on oatmeal, or ghee is even easier to digest. That's why Ayurveda advocates ghee, because it's easier to digest. The animal protein has been removed and we only have left the oil of the butter. So it's like the oil of the milk. And the animal protein, the sticky, gooey stuff that gives you the bad cholesterol, has been removed from it. So ghee is easier to digest. Cooked vegetables are easier to digest. Chicken soup is easier to digest than a big chunk of chicken. And apple sauce is easier to digest than hard apples. So soft, cooked, warm foods. You should never do cold foods, frozen vegetables, and particularly combined with yogurt or something like that, or animal, coconut oil or vegetables. You never mix fruit and vegetables together, except for avocado. He's okay. You can have avocado. He's kind of a fruit, but you could eat him as a snack. So, but you could also chop him up and put him in a salad and have with vegetables. There are a few fruits and vegetables that can go both ways, like celery. You could have celery with some fruit. Won't be a problem. So there's a few exceptions. But basically, fruit and vegetables should remain separate. Fruit should just be in between the meals to kind of keep you going. And fruits are laxatives. So if you're eating blueberries, strawberries, and grapes between your meals, that's going to help you keep your bowels moving right there. And if you're constipated, you already know why you're getting gas and bloated. That's the cause right there. So let's talk about a few things that we can do at home to improve our digestion. Number one is cooking with the right spices, because spice will improve your digestion. Now, if people come to me with Crohn's or food allergies, I hear it every day. Oh, I can't digest bread. I can't digest dairy. Oh, I can't. I hear it every day. That's a digestive problem. The bread is not the problem. The dairy is not the problem. It's your digestion. Your buddies or spouse, they're digesting it. They're not falling over with gas and bloating and pain, and they're or an allergic attack. So we know it's not poison. Other people are eating it. I'm not saying a pizza is healthy, but you should be able to eat a pizza without a lot of discomfort. So don't blame the food. The bread is not the problem. The dairy is not the problem. It's your digestion. And why is the digestion a problem? You're creating it through the snacking, grazing, eating when you're not hungry, not keeping the bowels moving, having too much dry food, too much raw vegetables, too much food that's hard to digest. All these little causes, 3 or 4 of them together, and you got your digestive problem right there. So the solution is to change the diet. No cabbage, no broccoli. Those are the most gassy ones: cabbage, broccoli, carrots, and the big beans: pinto bean, navy bean, lima bean, pinto bean. These are the gassy ones. The lentils and the mung dal are less gassy. So there's different foods that are easier to digest. That's why Indians like the mung dal. It's easy to digest, and it's high in protein. So the next thing you can do after changing your diet is add some spice. Now, the best spice for gas and bloating is cumin. So if we take a look at this one here, this seasoning here, it's called Vata salty seasonings. So it's used for cooking, added for flavor. It really should say helps digestion. I think on the website it says helps digestion. But the main herb in there, or spice we should say, is cumin. So cumin is really, just cumin tea is good for your digestion. Just cook with a lot of cumin. But we got coriander there, and there's plenty of ginger in there, some cinnamon for flavor, and ajwain, which is an Ayurvedic herb, and asafetida, which is put in foods and spices traditionally in India for gas and bloating, but a very small amount. And there is some pink salt in there. These are available right now on Herbman Teas. And in fact, Herbman Teas is having a sale on those right now. And I think they're only like $6-7 a jar. So if this is salty seasoning. So if you want, if you're getting a lot of gas and bloating and you like salty taste and you're thin, you don't have high blood pressure, a lot of swelling, which would be counterindications for too much salt, then this on your food, on your soups will help your digestion tremendously. And like I was saying earlier, when I get people like Crohn's or food allergies, I always provide the seasoning. Now, a lot of clients, I don't provide the seasoning because I see so many things they're doing wrong. I figure they get rid of all those bad habits, their smoothie, their cold food, their bad food combining, they're snacking on nuts, they're eating too late, all of these things. Once they remove that, then more likely their digestive problem's going. So I don't even bother sending the spice. But if they came to me with a digestive problem, even like Crohn's or a bad food allergy, then for sure I'm going to put in the spice, because I really want to make sure that I'm not just treating it with the herbs maybe before the meal and after the meal, but right during the meal. Now, here's another one but called the hot kapha spice. Now, kapha, of course, is a heavy, more overweight person. So it's got the main ingredient is more ginger, black pepper, and even some cayenne in there, and a very small amount of salt. I even put the word small amount. And this is a much more hot, peppery spice, good for overweight people. Right? It's on herbmanteas.com. And this one is good for food allergies. People that say are heavy, overweight, and they say, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I feel heavy after meals. Then this hot spices help you to digest heavier foods. So people who say, yeah, I'm putting that hot spice, that black pepper, that ginger all over my food. Oh, it's really helping my digestion. I don't feel heavy. I don't feel sluggish. I don't feel tired after meals. Those are all kapha imbalances that you can get after meals due to poor digestion. So if you're a cold person, heavy, overweight, having a lot of digestive issues like not able to eat a lot of foods, hot spices like chili pepper, black pepper, ginger, garlic will help you a lot. We have one more, and I'm doing these three because you can see there's 3 different types of spices, and there's also 3 main types of teas that we can have too. This one is called sweet pitta tea, and this is the one that mostly I have, and it is sweet, and the first ingredient is coriander and fennel. Cumin is much less. Then there's spearmint, but you can see there's dill and cardamom and a small amount of salt, but no ginger and much less cumin. And basically, you could give this one to a child. This is like for a child. It's very mild. It is flavorful. It has nice flavor. And when people have easy to get heartburn and acidity, partially that's not digesting their food, so they need some help to digest the food a lot of times. Particularly people say, oh, I have a big meal at night, I get the acidity. See, they're having some digestive problems in the evening. So by putting some seasoning on it will help them. But they got heartburn, so you can't give them ginger, black pepper, all those things. So you give them this one. That will make it taste better, make them enjoy it, help them digest the food better. And, and it tastes better. Again, these are really inexpensive. They're like $7, $8. I think those on the website, and these are even less. These are the ones for $6. Here's another one that has no salt. We make all these garlic pepper seasoning. And here it's garlic, black pepper, red bell pepper, parsley, celery, and no salt. It's pretty much garlic and black pepper. So this is, again, for that heavy, overweight person that feels heavy and sluggish after meals. Oh, I can't eat eggs, I feel heavy, I want to take a nap. Well, you put a black pepper and garlic all over them, and now you feel, oh, now I don't feel so heavy after that meal. So that's for that same kapha type person. Now, we have another one called salty seasoning. It didn't make it here, and it's basically like seasoned salt. But here's another one. This is probably a more popular one. We often sell out of it on Herbman Teas, the Mediterranean seasoning. Because you just got these common Mediterranean herbs like oregano, garlic, basil, marjoram, sage, thyme, rosemary, black pepper, and a little salt. This is a nice flavor, not too hot, not too spicy, not too salty, and can be put on just about everything. Most popular one. And it's kind of in the middle. It's not like too salty. It's not too peppery. It's not too bland. It's in the middle. But these three Ayurvedic ones, they were made for specific people and specific digestive issues. So that's the next big remedy that you can do, is have the right seasoning with your meal to help you digest it. Then you could go on to teas. And again, there's many teas for digestion. This is probably the most popular one, and that's its old name right there, Vata Digestive Tea. But once Vata Digestive Tea went mainstream, it needed its own name, so now it's called Belly Ease. But it says right there, reduces gas and bloating, improves digestion and absorption. And we can see a lot of the same herbs are in the spice, the cumin, the ginger, the fennel, the cinnamon, the ajwain. But also here we have some licorice, little lemon balm, and some peppermint. So very tasty tea. Feels very good. I mean, I get gas and bloated sometimes, and I have to sip this tea, and it feels very good. And the instructions are really kind of unique with these digestive teas. You don't gulp them down. You just kind of sip them a little bit. Even while you're eating, you could be eating and sipping the tea. After the meal, you could sip the tea. You don't drink it down, just a half a cup. And that feels good right away. Now, we do have three. That's the Vata one. So this has got the ginger in it, and it's warm. But if you are like me, you can get heartburn or acidity easy. I don't do too good with too much spicy. Then we do this one, the Pitta Digestive Tea, renamed to Sweet Digestive Tea, gently reduces gas and bloating without warm spices to avoid acidity, heartburn, or GERD. And you can see the spice is completely different. Instead of peppermint, use spearmint, which is more sweet. And then we got some ground fennel, some cumin seeds, some ground coriander, some cinnamon, and cardamom. No ginger, no black pepper in there. It's got that spearminty flavor, little cumin. Feels real good without making more heat or body heat for the warm person. And then the third one, which I don't have here, is called Kapha Digestive Tea. And Kapha Digestive Tea is basically, we call it herbal chai, because it's hot. We just put peppermint, and then we put a lot of ginger, black pepper, cloves, cardamom, and some vanilla bean. It's basically chai with some peppermint. Instead of black tea, we use a peppermint, but it's a chai because you have the black tea, the cumin, the coriander, the fennel, the ginger, and cloves. And most of these are carminative herbs are quite hot. So it's a very hot tea, like we sell it a lot in the wintertime. People are cold, and when you're cold, sipping this hot tea will help your digestion. A lot of people who say they have no appetite at all, that's a sign of poor digestion. If you're not hungry all day, you have poor digestion. So people who are not hungry all day, particularly if they're underweight and I really need them eating, and you can't force a person to eat, I give them that chai, that kapha tea, or even this Vata Digestive Tea. And I suggest sip it in the morning until you get hungry. So I use the herbs to get somebody hungry if I have to. And then sometimes the same tea, you can sip it after meals to help with the gas and bloating. So those are, the main recommendations that you can do on your own. Get rid of all those bad habits, snacking, eating late, eating when you're not hungry, mixing foods up in crazy smoothies, and mixing fruit with your meal. Making the food more soft, more warm, more cooked, more easy to digest, more soupy. Add more seasoning, spices, particularly cumin, ginger to your meal. And then maybe even make a little tea that you sip after the meal, like just ginger and cumin. Sometimes I'll just pick 2 or 3 spice that a person could use. Maybe cumin, coriander, fennel is a very famous a formula for digestion. Ginger and cumin works. Even just black pepper tea works for some people. It depends on who you are, what type of digestive system you have, and what are your tendencies. Now, In Ayurveda, though, we have a lot of churnas or powders, and they're much more powerful than the teas. The teas are light. They're just an infusion or a decoction. So if a person comes to me and they're having a lot of gas, a lot of bloating, a lot of constipation, that's the main reason they came, then I may give them, do all the things that I told you, change the diet, change the eating habits, give them one of those teas, maybe throw in a spice if they don't have their own. And then after meals, I'm going to give them a formula, which is going to work way better than any tea. And that says gas and bloating and constipation formula. This is a, existing Ayurvedic formula that has various herbs in it that helps with gas and bloating and constipation. And these powders are much more powerful than the tea. And I have many digestive powders. I got Vata post-digestive, Pitta post-digestive. This one just is gas and bloating. So I'll usually pick one of these after a meal. Even if you have irritable bowel, it's still the same treatment. It's just I'm going to give you gentle digestive herbs, gentle. And maybe I have to give you herbs for your colon. They're anti-inflammatory. Then after meal, I give you this IBS formula for inflammation in the colon. But the same concept is there. I'm going to change the diet, make it easy to digest, give you some tea, and then give you some formula after the meals to achieve the actions that I want. Whether it's for people with IBS, they can have loose stools and have gas and bloating. So it's a little bit different case. Then we're going to give them herbs that bring inflammation down in the colon. We're going to, maybe even give herbs that will strengthen and firm up the bowel movements. But we're still going to give them digestive tea, and if you have IBS or irritable bowel, we're going to get you all the gentle ones that you saw there. It doesn't matter if you're Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. You're going to get the gentle spices, the Pitta spice. You're going to get the gentle Pitta seasoning, and you may even get a more gentle one called soothing gut tea if you're in pain. So many different digestive teas and formulas and herbs. These are already been invented in the past, made in the past. I'm just following tradition here, Western herbalism and Indian herbalism, to provide these formulas. So the real secret is to diagnose the person, diagnose the cause, and not just be, buying or getting any old tea and you don't even know if it's suitable for you. That's why when you go to Herb and Teas, there's a lot of description on our website who the tea is for and who it's not for. Now, another point is digestive enzymes don't solve the problem. I never recommend digestive enzymes because digestive enzymes, you're supposed to be making them. Now, only is valuable if you have pancreatitis or non-functioning pancreas or pancreatic cancer where your pancreas isn't working, then you have to take digestive enzymes. But that's not fixing the problem. Another few points I want to make is that when you say, oh, I don't eat wheat, so I don't have wheat. Oh, I don't have dairy, so I don't have dairy. Oh, I don't have this, so I don't have. So you're not fixing the problem. You're maybe avoiding the problem. But what I see when people who go down that path of, okay, I don't have any dairy. I don't have any wheat. I don't have any meat. I don't have any of this. So now they're starting to eliminate so much food. And now, of course, people are a little crazy with these eliminating diets. Now they're afraid to have fruit because it has sugar, apparently, that they've come up with. So then that fruit, that's, a mild laxative. They leave that out. They go back to the nuts because nuts are always still good in everybody's mind, apparently. And then they're just making the situation worse. And they're going to deplete themselves because they're not eating a complete diet because they're afraid to eat everything. Once you're afraid to eat everything, you have a digestive problem. People with irritable bowel and IBS and Crohn's, which I get cases practically daily, these people are scared to eat anything. And they've been losing weight. I've had them less than 100 pounds, and they've been doing this for a year, and they're just convinced in their head they can't eat all these foods. Well, you can just go look at my testimonials under my website, Khabir's Clinic, under testimonials, digestion, and you can see plenty of people thanking me for being able to eat all of these different foods again after having, gone through this treatment. Even there's people that say they had Crohn's. People thought they couldn't have wheat for their whole life. People get themselves convinced they can't have any dairy. People, they convinced they can't eat these foods. And then later on, after the treatment, they're realizing they can eat these foods. So the problem was never the food. The problem the whole time was their own digestion, caused by their own poor choice of foods, poor food combining, and poor eating habits. Or we, instead of poor foods, we could say the wrong foods for your digestive system, the wrong foods. So that's the best, the big picture there, how to improve your digestion. And if you have chronic digestive issues, you're welcome to an appointment, and I can solve it much quicker than you can. But you can always start to get rid of these bad habits first, right off the bat. And that will, you'll see a lot of progress. And some people found out that one of these mistakes, like having smoothies, having cold foods, having strawberries in their oatmeal, having cold yogurt and fruit at night, that was the cause of their digestive problems. Or the snacking on the granola and the protein bars constipated them. And once they stopped that and they did blueberries and strawberries, their bowels moved. And once their bowels moved, then the gas and bloating went away. Particularly younger people, they recover very fast. We're talking people in their 20s and their 30s. It's if you've been older and you've had a long history of constipation, you could have diverticulitis, and it could take longer. And there could be colon herbs that have to be included here, which I didn't really cover because it's a whole nother category. We have all types of colon herbs for diarrhea, inflammatory cold, mild constipation, serious constipation, dry hard stools. We have all types of colon herbs, but the goal is to get those bowels moving 2 or 3 times a day without having to use some crazy strong laxative, which is mostly what you find in the store. So I hope that helped you. I hope you understand the basics. Your bowels need to be moving a couple times a day. You need to be hungry before you eat. You can't be snacking on crackers, nuts, and chips. You can't be grazing throughout the day. And if you can't digest something and you're getting gas and bloated, listen to your body. If you're getting gas and bloated from that salad, stop eating it and do soups. If you're getting gas and bloating from your crazy smoothie, just stop it. And, have some carrot juice, not fruits and coconut oil and goji berries and protein powders all mixed together. Yeah, this pea protein, another big cause of gas and bloating. Peas are very gassy. And then people have pea protein in the morning mixed with fruit and coconut oil and goji berries and mushrooms. I mean, everybody's throwing in mushrooms these days and nobody knows why they're doing it. This is this type of blind leading the blind healthcare system that we see now coming from social media. And this is really creating a lot of havoc with people's health and mostly with their digestion, because these are all marketers all trying to sell you some product and they don't really care about your digestion. They just want you to eat and enjoy the product. And I'm sure that's why people got on nuts. People got on chocolate because it had magnesium. People started eating nuts all the time because they had healthy fat, so you get these things stuck in your head. But whoa. What about your digestion? Can you digest it? Are you getting gas and bloating after it? Yeah, I'm getting gas and bloating after it. So you're not digesting it. Your body is trying to tell you. That's a very important tip. So I hope this helped you. I hope this helped improve. And once again, we want to thank our sponsor, Herb Teas, for paying all the bills and having this. And you can get a discount on all Herb Teas products after watching this webinar. Just go to webinar. When you check out, go to webinar 10 and you will get 10% off plus any discount that is on the site. That's Herb Teas, and that discount code is webinar 10. And feel free to message me and text me if you have any other health issues or concerns. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you the best of health and happiness. God bless you all.